Hi, everybody. It's Tim Constantine from the Washington Times, joined by my good friend Dave Bozell for America. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Tim. How are you?
I'm pretty good. You know, the thing that I marvel at with the Trump White House is historically in the United States is the government can only work on one thing at a time. And it's like a cruise ship. It moves so slowly if it has to turn. But if they're working on a particular topic, that's the only thing they can do. Never been the case with the Trump White House. They got 18 balls in the air. They're juggling. And the poor media is looking around. They don't know what to do. So I thought today, with that in mind, we might do a speed round and hit 3 or 4 topics, all kind of see where things are at. Right now, the SAVE Act. We talked about it once before, but the SAVE Act essentially is voter ID. It's got like 80% public approval, and yet Democrats in Congress don't like it. The Senate has been iffy on whether or not they were going to vote on it. Where does that stand?
Democrats in Congress may not like it, but Democrats in the country like it. 71% of Democrats voters report that they want voter ID. So the Democrats in Congress can stuff it, as far as I'm concerned. Look, everyone's coming back from Munich right now. I mean, apparently going over to Germany is more important than voter integrity and election security in the United States. But I think John Thune will bring it to the floor. Whether or not it'll be the 60 vote threshold or this talking filibuster idea at the 51 vote threshold is still very much up in the air. Look, Tim, the base, President Trump's base, when the president has been advocating for this, the vice president has been advocating for this, people in the Freedom Caucus that the base trusts have been advocating for this, including led by Chip Roy. Senate Patriots, the Patriots in the Senate, Mike Lee, Ted Cruz, they've all been advocating for this. If the Senate doesn't get this done, and I mean not a show vote, not failure theater, done, passed, the Republicans can kiss their midterm chances goodbye if they don't pull this off. This has been, like I said, this has been advocated from the top for months now, and voters expect this to be done. And it just depends on whether or not the Republicans really do want to be in charge after the midterms.
Topic number 2, let's talk about the potential of war with Iran. I got up this morning, I look at the headlines, and it says we are inching closer. I know Iran and the U.S. met in Geneva this past Tuesday, and they both came out saying, oh, we made some progress. Things look good. We like the fact that we're still talking. And yet they're not even close when you look at the individual issues. Are we likely to go to war with Iran?
No, I don't think a full-throated war is going to be in the cards. Doesn't seem like President Trump's MO, particularly in a midterm year, that would go down. Now you got the USS Lincoln over off the shores of Iran right now. USS Ford is on its way, if not there already. The same type of buildup that you saw with the Maduro extraction is happening in Iran. You wonder if it could be quick and easy, and if regime change is the goal, let's just get in there and get it done ourselves, and let the Iranian people chart their own course. That if a deal isn't made, and I think that's what you're seeing in the waters off the coast of Iran right now, is a show of force. We could do to you what we just did to Maduro, and you don't want to risk it. So.
Also in the Middle East region, one of Trump's great successes was bringing about the ceasefire in Gaza. He now has the Board of Peace, and they are going to try to make this peace permanent, bring some stability to the region. How do you see that unfolding?
Well, I think it's almost like having a good umpire at a baseball game. If you haven't seen or heard from the Board of Peace in a while, then that's a good thing, right? That means there's been some peace, and it seems to be things have seemed to have quieted down in that region. Now, can it stay? Still remains to be seen. I think Iran is a key part of this, right? How could there be a Board of Peace in the region when you've got Iran sponsoring terrorism back in Israel, Gaza, et cetera? So I think once the Iran domino falls, the Board of Peace can get on with the business of a lasting peace in the Gaza region.
Let's shift back to U.S. soil. New York City has a new mayor. He is not necessarily popular in some corners of the world, but they elected him in New York City. What do you see that has happened in these first few weeks, and what do you anticipate happening in New York City in the weeks and months to come?
I've seen all that. What we've all seen, right? Towers of garbage, unplowed ice piles, and now because he can't afford anything, and because Kathy Hochul won't raise taxes in New York State because they're already about as high as you're going to get in the country. He's telling everybody that he's going to have to raise property taxes by at least 9.5%, corporate tax rates by 11.5%, dipping into this reserve fund, that reserve fund, this health fund to pay for God knows what. He won't cut any spending. I think Mr. Wonderful on CNN went viral the other night saying anyone who supports this is nuts. And there's going to be very few people that do at the end of the day. His tenure will not be remembered fondly. And there's going to be, if there hasn't been already, there's going to be a mass exodus out of New York City, as there should be. And the renters downstream who can't afford to buy the property to begin with, the renters downstream are going to be the ones paying the price of these increased property taxes. So, those are those of you who voted for him.
We've covered a variety of topics just in that short period of time. Let me ask you a very broad question, and that is, are you optimistic about the future in the U.S. and our position in the world as you take all these things into consideration?
Absolutely, particularly in the United States. I really am. I'm kind of I think you have to be a glass half full guy to be in this business. I am very curious as to what comes out of the Fulton County raid that was led by Tulsi Gabbard a few weeks ago. I am very curious if the president announces something involving the 2020 elections. Again, don't like looking back in the rearview mirror, but these are the types of things that got him elected again, right? We wanted answers to these issues, and we wanted the truth about COVID. We want the truth about elections. We want the truth about all manner about the Epstein files. Is another one. So the Epstein file is now in the rearview mirror. Those that were involved are going to pay the price. If he can change the narrative, right, in terms of showing and proving that there was election theft in 2020, I think that's going to do wonders for him and the Republican Party's midterm chances. But again, you've got to secure the election. And you've got to give reasons for the base to come out and vote. So I think all signs are pointing north on economic news. That's great. We haven't had a terrible foreign conflict, spring up since this administration has begun last year. So I don't know what's to complain about. We live in the greatest country in the world. So let's enjoy it.
Fair enough. For America, his name is Dave Bozell. I'm Tim Constantine. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.